This is my favorite. You guys familiar with remarketing? This is my favorite of all the new tools. This is one I've used. I use it with all my clients across the board because to me it's a low risk, high reward. Remarketing came out in March 2010. There's a few people that had before then were trying it out with a lot of Google products, so we kind of knew it was coming. They officially announced it worldwide on all campaigns on March. What remarketing is allows you to tag users that visit your site and basically follow them throughout the internet. And you can remarket them, which is why it's called remarketing, with new ads and new targeted messages. And I'll kind of show you what that means. I know that was a little confusing. So I'll show you an example. So imagine this here. So I'm going to go through an example here. We're going to take this customer here, for instance. Imagine this is your customer, your client, whatever you're selling, just imagine that's the case. So we know who the customer is and what he likes and what he does. We'll kind of go through the process of how remarketing works for him. So this is Cowboy Ron. This is what he does. And what you may also know about him is he also likes a good Broadway show. So please heard all the jokes. It's okay. So we're going to go through kind of typical buying process. He's in the hunt to buy for the new show. He's been dying to see. So he wants to see tickets. So he goes through the typical buying process of buying tickets to the show. And again, I kind of imagine this is your customer searching. He goes through Google, see who has tickets for what he wants to see. He goes through Google, starts searching, finds a few sites. He finally picks a site he likes, just like any product. He goes through the process. You find a site and get ready to purchase. He decides on what show. He's kind of in his buying cycle, buying process. He decides on a show. He decides on a date. Does he want to see the touring show? Does he want to go overseas and see it in London? Does he want to see it on Broadway? So it kind of goes through this buying process. And then he finds his seats. He finds his location. He finds exactly what he wants. And he's in the buying process getting ready to buy. So that would be easy if that's how online marketing always works. But unfortunately, people don't always just come to your site and buy something. If that's how it worked, I would be doing pretty well right now. What happens is, people come to your site, then they leave. They get distracted. They get distracted by kids and alcohol, and they want to do price checks. Sometimes they leave your site, sometimes they come back. Maybe the same person came back, maybe they did, and then you kind of lose that gap in between of whether that's them, whether that's not them. So that ultimately happens offline as well. You kind of lose that customer because they left your site. That's kind of where remarketing comes into play. It allows you to go back and find that customer and remarket them. So let me kind of take you through an example of how to do this through remarketing, how to get them back to your site. Now we know who the customer is. So we can go to a site that he likes, for instance. That's possibly a site he would visit. We can see this ad here, we can replace that with our ad. So that would work. He'd come to the site, he'd click on the ad, he'd go to your site, he'd buy something. And that's how the Google Display Network works now. And there's some advantages to doing this, which we're not going to get into now. But the disadvantage is, I don't want to stereotype, but most people who come to the site probably aren't interested in this. And we waste a lot of clicks and waste a lot of buys just to get that one customer to click here. But now with remarketing, you've since tagged him now. So you're not going after the site anymore, you're going after him. So only he or people in that group are seeing this ad. So not only is he seeing this ad, you can really target now really specific. You already know he's interested in tickets. He got this far in your buying process, he almost purchased. So you can entice him even more. They say, hey, we know you're interested, buddy. Look over here. You get him to come back to your site right away. That's the beauty of remarketing. And the reason I love it is, one, if he doesn't click here, you lose nothing by trying. You get a free ad on a site that nothing lost.
So that's that ad only comes up.
Him or anybody in that audience, which we'll get to in a second. Anybody within that group of people who did that same action you did. Who went through that buying process.
And you're tracking this person how? Again, did I miss that?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay.
So essentially getting him to come back to the site allows you to connect that customer back to your product. It brings them back, that lost sale that you mentioned, that you lost. So we'll kind of go to your question, how that's broken down a little bit. Remarketing has two pieces, the audience and the campaign. Those who've done banner ads and display ads in Google before, this is typical. This is how you always do a campaign. You create your campaign, which we're not going to get to now with time. But you create your campaign, you create a display ad, you say, I want to show on these sites, like the rodeo site we saw. So that'd be one thing. But the new level added to this now is the audience. Say, I only want this ad to show to this specific audience. And what I mean by audience is, you can determine what that is. We'll go through some examples in a second. You can say, I want this audience, everybody who visited this section of the website. That's my audience. People who visit this landing page, for instance. If you're a retail shop, you have a ladies' shoe section. Say, only show this ad to these people. So that's your audience. And what happens is, when you go through the Google setup, you say, this is the landing page, this is the audience. And what Google will generate a piece of code for you. And you put that on your page, on that specific page, that landing spot. And from there, it tags the consumer. Basically places a cookie on their computer.
Gotcha.
And from there, it follows them on their day, and then ultimately they'll re-see this ad again. Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. So here's kind of three ways I like using ad marketing. Well, three ways you can. One is a visit, which I'm not a fan of. This means to target anybody who visits your site at all. You tag them, and from there they're seeing ads related to your site. The reason I don't like this is because a lot of people visit your site, don't want even you have. They visit by accident, or you don't have what they're offering. Whatever it is, they don't like it. So that's a large percentage of people. Now all of a sudden you're retargeting with a display ad. It's going to take a few people off. For whatever reason. So I like to take it to the next level, like we saw before. It's targeting people that are actually in the mid-process of buying something. Maybe they put something in their shopping cart, maybe they landed on a very specific landing page. And from there, you know they're interested now. So now, you've narrowed down that audience, that group of people, and you can retarget them to specific messages, not a big brand message, but specific messages to what you know they're interested in. And the other angle is the post-sale. When somebody buys something on your site, and you retarget them later with maybe an accessory or something you know they purchased. For instance, you sold them an inkjet printer. 3 months later, you can target them with cartridges for that printer, because you already know they have it now. So those are kind of three ways you can target those people through display ads. Okay, so to answer your question or your comment, Danny, there are some concerns out there with remarketing. And the reason is because a lot of people are crappy at it. I censor myself there. Because a lot of people that do what I do are just really bad at it. So they're giving remarketing a bad name. Because they're showing people messages that aren't related, people that aren't interested in what they have to say. They're still following them these banner ads over and over again. This is my favorite here. That first one there. She was hounded by diet fans and kept following her right beside. At some point, you just got to let it go if you're a partner. It's like, she's not interested, move on. So I'm going to kind of go through some examples of how to be less creepy with remarketing. One is multiple ad variations. When you create your display ads, Google, and preferably, have a graphics artist do them for you. When you create display ads, Google allows you to create as many variations as you can, different sizes, different display ads, different colors, different messages. So the more you can create, the better, because people are seeing different messages over and over again. They're not seeing your same ad over and over again. Another one is frequency capping. And this is essential for me. Most people that do remarketing are not doing this. This is one little field within the setup that says how often you want to show this ad to the same customer. And this is kind of the give up point where you say, I want to show it to the same person once a week, or once period, or twice period. And then from that point, you got to let it go. You can't keep showing them the same ad over and over again. They've already been to your site. You know that. They've already seen your ad once. They've seen it twice. At some point, you got to say that's enough. I don't want to show this customer my ad anymore, because then they start getting ticked off. Yeah.
Question. Coming back to the inkjet cartridge, we know your customers need both your cartridges every 90 days, and you set it up to be a recurring. The idea is instead of frequency, it's on a timely basis.
I don't think you can do recurring, but you could re-tag them. Assuming they buy an ink cartridge from you, you can tag them again.
Okay. So all of this is set up by you have to have somebody create an ad. This is like
yes. This is a display ad they're seeing. When they, as part of the Google Content Network, when they go to a site like that rodeo site we saw an ad there.
You're going to have to graphics.
Yes, you need some. And Google has some stuff you can use, but I would use that. I've hired somebody who gets to work on stuff for you.
And Danny,
yeah, I heard that 3 times already.
Danny is Nashville Tech's go-to designer. She's designed our logo, and so she's right here if you want to talk to some.
Stack of business cards too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I was getting to that. Okay, so another thing I like to do with remarketing is to separate when you're creating campaigns or somebody's doing it for you, whatever, is to separate your campaigns as much as possible. That's a good rule of thumb with anything that have to do with AdWords. Separate your ad groups and your keywords and really put them in unique groups and unique campaigns, and separate your display ads, your regular display ads from your remarketing display ads. You can really see what's working. So boy, you don't just throw everything into one ad group and really separate it, let it run, and kind of see what's working for you. And the fourth tip I have with remarketing is the idea of an email push. And one important factor that I forgot to mention, when you're creating this audience of people who visit your specific site, Google says you have to have at least 500 people within that audience before you can remarket them. So that way you're not showing the same ad over and over again to the same group of people. They need a large segment of people. So the reason you kind of get around that, if you will, you send an email push to all your email list. Hopefully everybody has an email list. Send it to everybody to get them to that page. Whatever page you want them to remarket at, all of a sudden they've all hit that page now. And then now you tag them. So now they go about their day, do whatever. And you can tag them with other you can tag the computer so they can go out and get them to come back to your site.
You essentially beat them in numbers.
Yes. Another way I like to decide through email is for instance, suppose you sell iPhone accessories. You tell all your users to fill out, answer an iPhone survey. And then once they enter the survey, at this point you already know they have an iPhone now. So now you go back and say, then you start retargeting with the iPhone accessories that you have. You know, like what's your favorite iPhone app? Something just to get into the page. Now you have them there.
See, and Dave didn't make it tonight, so
yeah.
You can't tell Griffin that.
So now you already know, they answered the question about what's their favorite iPhone app. So now you know they have an iPhone. So now you can retarget. You do the same with BlackBerry, whatever it may be, whatever question they're answering. That's the one they're going to have. Now you can retarget them with accessories to that product. All right, so that's not just the wrap up of remarketing. It allows you to make that consumer to your product, not the site. You're actually targeting a person or a group of people. And the thing that's different with remarketing now is that audience that Google never had before. You're targeting a specific audience that visited your website. And there's three areas where you can target at the visit level, which I'm not a fan of, in that mid process of buying something, and in that post sale, when they bought something, like we mentioned before. And I believe that's it. We're done. Any questions at all?